Well, hello, fellow travelers. We're going to try this again. I recorded what I thought was going to be a portal report earlier, and it turned out to be almost a personal reading. So we're going to do another go at this, only we're going to work with the ARCANE BS deck, because I opened up the other read with the Kipper deck, and it just gave such a specific message that I know it's meant for a select few in the collective and not everybody. So let's go ahead and give this another shot with the next 72-hour portal report. I will be releasing that other read, but I wanted to get through something that's more collectively oriented rather than just a very specific, almost personal kind of message. So, okay, let's see what is coming in here. There could be this kind of energy coming in. Something's not for you, collective. Something is turning out quite differently than you expected. There could be a curveball coming in the next 72 hours, something that shifts your course or totally changes your perspective about a situation in light of new information you're receiving. There could be something that absolutely switches up your game plan here moving forward. Expect the unexpected. That's sort of the tone of this, it feels like. We are now in the energy of Mercury forward, no more post shadow hanging on. So we know that we got 8 weeks of a lot of steady movement and certainly things coming to a crescendo by May 1st with that Scorpio flower moon coming in. So let's see what is getting set in motion for the collective over the next 72 hours with this portal report. All right, let's check it out. Ooh, I like it. Okay, we're entering a whole new flow. The flow we're entering into is leading us up to our north node, to that stone of destiny. So pay attention, because there's a lot of signs and synchronicities that are trying to get your attention in your environment. Where you're going, you're going to feel, pretty proud of yourself by the time you get there. You're going to have a reason to feel good about your journey, what it took to get there. There is something to celebrate, but this is the time where something is coming into bloom. And I think you've given over your consciousness to something higher. You know that there's something higher steering the wheel of this ship as you're making your way through the waterway. And you're really ready to give over this vision to higher impulses. There's something here where you're kind of okay not knowing where you're going. You know where you're going. It's something that's going to endure. It's something that's built to last. But this is when we move into that territory of that weird ass mystical shy. So do expect some otherworldly encounters. Expect things to get a little unusual here over these next 72 hours. And do understand that 72 hours is just an introduction of the energy. Truly, these reads are timeless. But yeah, I feel there's so many signs that are showing up for you at this time that are giving you a clue about which direction you need to head in. You are being asked to really pay attention to your vessel at this time. It's so important that you have strength for the journey ahead. You're going to need to have some endurance. And I think there's also a need to have focused discipline. So you might want to take up some form of training, whatever that looks like for you. You don't have to train in a gym. You can train dance, work on some choreography, do your dance drills, or maybe go out and hike and challenge yourself every time to maybe take it a little bit further on your hikes. There's something here about having some kind of focused physical discipline that can make you really fit for the road ahead. I think you're going to need to have endurance. And also the thing about having some kind of discipline is it does allow you to sort of discharge a lot of heavy energy, especially when you do feel overwhelmed or you've had a long day of work and really grinding it out, where you can just let everything go and clear your head and be able to hit the pillow at night and just be able to have that calm, restorative sleep. So some of you may be picking up training. You may really want to look your best, feel your best. I think this is something you're putting your focus on. I do feel like something from back in October 2024 is really being left behind you. You're able to look at it with a different kind of perspective now, maybe even with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek kind of humor. You understand the wisdom of life, why things didn't turn out the way you hoped they would back then. I think you're recognizing that it was your protection. In some cases, you dealt with a rejection, and you're recognizing that if it would have panned out the way you hoped it would, you wouldn't be in the strong position you are now. A lot of you are making final cuts. You're deciding what decidedly isn't for you, what you do not want to invest in any longer. You're moving forward in a new direction. And there's just a lightness of being here. I feel like you're firmly out of the chrysalis stage. This is when things really start to take flight. You got beginner's mind here after clearing off a lot of the old heavy energy, a lot of the funk. Some of you lifted some curses, some hexes, and you took the ball and you said, it's my ball. I don't want to play. I'm not going to be involved in this game anymore. You really took charge of yourself. You may have had to go against the current in order to birth these new beginnings that are coming through for you now. But it's all just the theater of life, and you've had to deal with your tragedy, but I feel like we're heading into the comedy phase. Also, you're getting the bag here. It does look like there's some kind of treasure you got in your hands where you've been working really hard. Do look for a return of investment. What you put out is what you're going to be getting back. Some of you are starting to put more work into a particular direction because you recognize this is the right track for me. You might not have been giving it your all before, but I feel like something is really putting a fire under your butt at this time. And you might have somebody special to celebrate with too. There could be a partner coming in here. But there's a lot of it that sort of feels random at this time, okay? These are things that are starting to come into form, but I do feel like you're getting signs and synchronicities over the next 72 hours that really illuminate the path forward for you and highlight where things went wrong, how right that was. I think there's some kind of vindication coming through here that makes you realize after all is said and done, you truly do hold some kind of treasure in your hand, and it has you celebrating something here. Yeah, interesting. Okay, we got big sexy Satan here. I don't know. Maybe somebody's even changed their devilish ways a little bit. Maybe they've seen through some deception. Maybe they're getting a little bit new of a perspective here. I also feel like I have to say this is really recognizing that it's great to have the spiritual perspective and the loftier view and to feel like, yeah, I've really grown, but there's something about you coming more into your worldly power now. I feel like a lot of you have been held back in that regard. You may have found it really challenging to get some traction in your day-to-day life. Maybe you wanted to see more progress in your work or a project you were working on, or you just wanted to feel like, hey man, I've been putting myself out there, but I haven't met the right person, and everything just feels like, it's close, but no cigar. And I feel like that's what's really shifting for you. Do look for a lot of beginnings to be coming in that are tangible, not just like, oh, I got a new idea, but actually, wow, I really have an opportunity here. And these opportunities are taking you to a higher rung of the spiral. I think life's about to get better. I think you're about to see more material rewards and more results for the energy you've put out there, rather than just sort of keeping it in this place of having really good intentions and hoping for the best. I saw 9:11 on the clock. So there could have been something that at one point you felt like you were in kind of an emergency situation. You may have felt like you were living more to survive rather than thrive. And I feel like that's what's really changing here. But it does involve you taking certain steps to make that possible. And there is something that's really coming through so strongly about having some kind of physical discipline, like really getting the body in order to be able to step into these opportunities. Now, it could be that you're going to be in a position where you have more visibility, where you're going to be out and about, and you're going to be meeting people, and you're going to be more of a mover and shaker. And it is just the way it is in this material world. Your face, your immediate impression is your calling card. So some of you may be starting to focus on this a little bit. I would say that would certainly be the case too, especially if you have some kind of aspiration, like to get into a career track like personal trainer, something where you need to be an example of what you're trying to promote here. So that might be why that influence is coming through. But I do feel like you're mastering time too. You're getting your schedule in order. You're really looking at things in a very practical way. This might be something that's been missing. Some of you may have been too far out into the alfalfa. You need to kind of come back down to earth and take care of some practicalities. And yeah, you might feel like you're being really tempered in the fire there. You may feel like it's not comfortable as you make these changes. You feel like you're out of your usual flow, but the more you go, the more you're going to see your returns. And the more that you're going to be drawn to connections where it feels like, there's more synergy there. Like these are dancing partners, you know what I mean? To be a good dancing partner, you have to know how to lead, but you also have to know how to follow, okay? There has to be that synergy, 11:22 on the clock. So I feel like this is the point of synergy you're striking here. You could have an offer coming your way from somebody who is in a position of worldly power. I think it's a very enticing offer that's coming through. I think there's different options you have to explore in this regard. Okay. Ooh, but there's a little bit of fear here I see with the parasitic fruit. It's like, oh, but I've fallen for temptation before, and then I found myself really held back. I gave over the free agency of my own independent thought, and I had other people kind of in charge of telling me what to do and what my schedule had to look like, and I found that everything that I desired for myself suddenly became overgrown and I couldn't find the way through. So I think there's kind of looking at an offer and being aware that an offer can be tempting, but is it all it's cracked up to be? Some of you may need to do some work around really extracting energetic cords that have been lodged in you for too long. I feel especially around Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra, Vishuddha, throat chakra, and also Sahasrara, the crown chakra. Letting too many people insert their opinions, their ideas, their narrative into your storyline, into your decision making. Biting your tongue, not speaking your truth, not saying your piece because you felt like somebody else held all the power, and in order for you to navigate the territory, you had to kind of toe the line, which had you kind of holding back your own creative power here, and that didn't really work out for you in the end. In some cases, this could be in relation to a romantic partner you had, an intimate partner you had. You may also be in a place where you're kind of tired of that, like you don't want to play things loose anymore. You want something a little bit deeper. I think that there's something you're recognizing here, though, as you're sort of sorting through all of this, that if you hadn't had those experiences, you wouldn't have activated your self-knowledge, and that's part of the human experience, Sometimes you have to fumble. Sometimes you have to get it wrong before you can set things right. And there's value in the experiences you have, even when you have been deceived. It teaches a very important lesson about trusting yourself, because most of the time when we've been deceived, it's because we went along for the ride. It's like we took the temptation of buying a line of bull, even though everything inside of us, it was like alarm sounding off. We saw all the red flags and we said, oh, but it's just so tempting. I'm just going to believe in this beautiful lie, and recognizing that, that doesn't really pay off in the end. But I feel this is something that's really coming in to shift things for you. But there could be one connection in particular that challenges you, that could be coming in here, that you might seriously want to consider cutting off. It may take a lot of strength for you to do this, but if you do this and you really see things clearly and understand how much you've changed, how much you've grown, you get your wings here and you lift a certain curse from you. Sometimes the curse is a direct result of crossing yourself, jinxing yourself, because you don't value your own wisdom. You don't value your own intuition. And it's not about lifting anything that anybody else has put on you. It's sort of a mar you've put on yourself by buying a line of bull that deep inside you knew it wasn't true. So to me, this looks like recalibration energy, but some of you might want to do some work around those chakras. Crown chakra, throat chakra, and sacral chakra are coming through pretty strongly, because I feel like there's going to be an opportunity to really change the course of your experience. There's some opportunity to step into worldly power here. You have more options than you used to, but there could be just energetic links that are keeping you in an old way of thinking, an old way of moving through the world, seeing yourself, seeing others, that could hold you back, okay? So be aware of that. And if something really is firing off, it's like, oh man, this ain't it, then trust, okay? It could be that there are a few of you that may have to face off with a particular devil that's bested you one too many times. Yeah, okay, I like that. I like that. I mean, this could have been somebody who really in the past held you to the fire for a long time. You were hanging in there, telling yourself, if I just ride it out, man, if I just ride it out, if I prove that I'm a ride or die, it's going to come right in time. And I think you're finally recognizing, like, only I can go through this fire, transform. And you do that, it's like, here comes spirit. They're giving you a leg up. Like, they're helping you transform. You may feel a lot of heat kind of funneling through your body if you've been doing a lot of lifting work, if you've been doing a lot of cord extraction work. I don't like to call it cord cutting. You don't want to leave any part of that in your energy body. Just pull it out by the root, okay? You can do it very similarly as you would cord cutting. It's just take the work a little bit deeper. Don't look at cutting it. Look at really going down to the root and pulling it out of your body. You do that, I feel like pretty quickly that cleansing fire, that purification fire is going to come on through. You'll feel that cleansing fire just rush through your body. And then you're not going to be put on hold anymore like you were with the future grandma here, you know. You're going to finally realize that you have all the information you need, all the wisdom you need, all the secret sauce you need to move forward in a brand new way. And this is really going to shift up things for you. So I feel like you're tired of being in the heat, you know, you're tired of being in the hot seat, and the fire is coming in to give you hot feet. In a sense, it's telling you, okay, it's time to get on the move here. I know, it's intense, but you know, you're getting a leg up. I really feel that. You're getting a leg up here, and it's going to pay off in the end, but it's absolutely going to be go time. So in whatever way you can start getting yourself moving, maybe that's what the training is all about, like getting some exercise in and all of that is all about. Maybe you've kind of been too much in this position, you know, where you've been inactive, where you felt like you were unable to move forward, limited in your ability to move forward, oppressed in some way. And it's sort of like, well, you know, here, Spirit's coming in to give you something that'll sort of inspire you to get up, and is going to give you a leg up. But it does mean you can't hang out here anymore because time's wasting. And you're getting all the insight you need in order to move forward here. Yeah, this turned up in the middle of the deck. We got the Frotus here. I know, it's the virus. It's that world virus. It's all the doom and gloom and everything heavy going on in the world. And if you watch that too much, and if you're tapped into it too much, 1919 on the clock, what can be a road that you pave toward your happiness can turn into a black hole sun. And you may tell yourself that it's no big deal. Oh, it's probably nothing. It's no big deal for me to, you know, watch the nightly news and take in all of these headlines and sit and stew on this and have these conversations. But it really does sort of take you out of your element, you know? It's time to cleanse your vision a little bit, cleanse your vision so you can move more into the Aquarian age perspective, or you can move more into a quality of expansion. Also, when we're looking at the Aquarian age, it's so much about the creative energy coming forward too. You're not meant to squander it, you know, buying into this stuff that makes you feel like everything's dissolving and you're eternally in the goop stage and you don't know how to bring things together and everything's a big mess. And while I think it is important to be informed and have an awareness of what's going on in the world, and also a keen eye, so you can recognize what is just straight up the work of spin doctors to keep people in line, there is a fine line with that. You have to be able to let in enough of the beauty too, to temper that. So you don't end up in this position where you just feel like, I'm helpless, there's nothing I can do, all of these dark forces have all the power in the world and there's nothing I can do about it and I just have to tough it out and hang in there. No, you don't. You have the ability to choose where you're putting your focus, your energy. And if you do look at things in a more nihilistic way, or you have more of a stoic perspective, then I would say if you really do feel like time is limited and everything's coming to an end here, why are you going to spend what little time you have like fretting about this stuff? What's the point? No, it's time to get in the thick of it, you know, and extract the very most out of life that you can in this moment, right here and now. Because truly, at the end of the day, that's really all we got. We just got this moment, man, okay? So you are seeing something new here. Some of you are dealing with some competitive people. They're kind of trapped into that matrix sort of thinking. You've been dealing with people who might envy your position, or they have certain judgments about you because you're taking steps or making moves that they wish they could, but they have excuses about why they can't do that. And they'd rather sort of target you as being the source of their troubles rather than look at the power that they really hold to transform their reality. So, you know, yeah, you may got a little evil eye action on you, but you know how you get beyond that? It's like you don't worry about that. You don't stay fixated on that. You stay focused on yourself and what you need to do. And that's why it's so important to have a fit vessel, mind, body, spirit. Get yourself on lock and watch as you stop focusing on all this. I don't know if you're taking in a lot of stuff too that kind of keeps you in a drama cycle. If you watch a lot of reality TV or stuff like that where people are moving in a really low vibe sort of way. But this is all about you get to control what you take in. You get to control the vision. And it's really true. As you start to shift that, you start to feel different, and what happens in your life shifts as a direct result of that. So this looks like you taking the reins here, stepping into your worldly power. And yes, stepping into your worldly power, not being submissive to King Fancy here anymore. Because like I've been saying for a long time, when we do have the macrocosmic energy come in, the Frodis, the powers that be, their time of holding that power and riding on the backs of others is really coming to an end here, okay? Really coming to an end here. So it's time to get up, man. Isn't that interesting? Look, it's like all the oppressive energy comes from being on your knees. Stand up. Stand up. Stop hanging out in this place, you know? Stop hanging out in this place where you feel like, you know, there's nothing I can do about it, and you're feeling sorry for yourself. There's always something you can do. And you may feel like, well, it's not enough, but it doesn't matter. Like any proactive momentum you start to stir in your life, it shifts things for you in a big way. And if you doubt me, just do it. Just do it. Just play with the energy for a bit. Start getting a little bit more interactive with your life and watch how options start to open up for you. Yeah, that's right. Stand up. It's time to stand up. You're not here to be a pawn. You have creative energy at your disposal. You also have like an Ace of Cups kind of energy coming in here. Something that's going to pour into you. It's going to spark a brand new vision. Something that's going to nurture you on the other side of what came to an end. And this is you really harnessing your creative power to birth a new world into being. And you're brewing up your own special sauce here, your own secret sauce. And it's good. This is about you really getting ready to receive something that's going to transform your reality. And it's meant to free your mind, move you out of this place of indecision. And that's the problem for many people right now, is they're stuck in the polarities of their minds. They're stuck in this place of trying to figure it out. And that's what keeps us firmly anchored in place. It's what keeps us in that place of stress. But you move your body, you move the action, into motion through that masculine quality of the avenue. And then suddenly, the creative energy can come on board and things can start to shift. So there's something about this. And if you feel like, well, I don't have any action I can take, I don't have any options, well, then just move your body, exercise, go for a walk. It may seem silly, but you might just be super stressed out. And that's what makes it hard for you to make up your mind. And maybe you're not feeling so great about yourself right now because you've been dealing with a lot of challenges and you're tired. Do you know that it's been proven that strength training elevates self-esteem? They've studied this. It makes people feel emotionally stronger, beyond just physically stronger. And you don't have to go and lift weights. You can just use your body weight to strength train, So there's something about this. If you feel like you're in that place where you're like, I don't have any options, I don't know what to do, there's nothing I can do, and you're just kind of sitting around, loafing around, feeling sorry for yourself, over these next 72 hours, maybe just get a little exercise in. Even just a walk around your neighborhood, okay? Get out there, get in the flow, make it a non-negotiable. Like every day, I'm going to give myself at least 10 minutes to move my body. Everybody has 10 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, my feet hurt. Okay, well then, do chair yoga. I mean, there's ways you can move your body. There's something about that. You need to get out of your head and get something into motion. Any ideas you've been stewing on and you've been looking at why you feel so held back because you can't make this brilliant idea come to life. Well, instead of sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, start to bring the idea to life. Take a first step. There's something about that. Take a first step. That's how the spiritual assignment is coming through over the next 72 hours. Take a first step. Maybe think of what your biggest excuse is and then take the first step. You'll be surprised what you're able to birth here. You'll be able to birth something out of nothing and it'll align you with your north node. You'll balance something out. You'll get the call. Something will come in that will make you realize, wow, it really is go time. And yeah, it's a little bit psychedelic here. This is moving with a different kind of vision as you set something in motion, but it's really about connecting with Earth, you see. It's like all the energy comes from getting out into the world and letting yourself come back to life again, and you'll start to see things very differently. You'll be surprised, okay? Just try it on for size, even if you just do it one day over the next 72 hours, okay? Trying to meet people where they are at, even for those of you that feel like I'm really stuck. Like I have no desire to go for a walk. I have no desire to exercise. I have no desire to do anything. I'm just convinced that somebody is doing dark magic on me and I'm just going to continue to stay in this embattled place. That's such a cop-out, man. Come on. No. See, this is the reality here. I got to be careful how I show this, okay? This is the reality here. You already got the secret sauce. The creativity is already here. The gravy funnel has arrived on the scene. The dawn is starting to come into view. There's that Ace of Cups. There's a new beginning here for you, and there's a vision that's protected. But if you choose to continue to stay fixated on the shadows, or to not step into your creative power and continue to point fingers about whose fault it is that you're in the position you're in, you're going to find that it's just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and there might need to be more intensity before you'll finally get so uncomfortable you'll do something. I mean, that's usually what happens, you know? It's up to you. But what I see is there's a real opportunity for you to find a way through. And not only find a way through, but maybe gain access to some secret knowledge, something that you didn't have insight into before. And whatever you're learning here, whatever you're discovering here, it's turning you on, you know? It's like you finally feel like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to come back to life again, okay? So tune out from the things that don't turn you on, man, that make you feel like there's no hope, that make you feel like there's nothing you can do, that make you feel like everything is screwed. And instead, get turned on here. And if you don't know what turns you on, well, start exploring. Figure it out. Figure out what turns you on. And then you'll find that your whole energy signature shifts there, and what you draw to you completely changes, okay? Well, let me do a cut of the deck and see what we got. I mean, you're up to bat. It's up to you. If you have that resilience, you can strike a home run here, I see. You can find the way through. Or you can stay in this position where you continue to ignore the opportunity and stay in the place you're in, even though you hold the power in your hands and you can walk through a new door to a new potential. You can stay in this place where you continue to feel drained and depleted. It really is all up to you. You got a choice coming through the next 72 hours. Choose you. Godspeed.